Today is the day that I have my Works Electric Rover scooter. To give you some scale of how ridiculously ginormous this freaking thing is, just look at this. This is unbelievable. I have been waiting, oh my God, I've been waiting for this for a long time. This is the new version of the Works Electric scooter. I mean, electric scooter is not really a good name for it because it's not really what it is. It's kind of like a crossbreed, which is why they call it a Rover, the Rover models. But this is the new Hollyburn P5. Literally just came out. I think I'm one of the very first people to get it, and I'm very, very excited about that. Just gonna be honest with you, this might be kind of a quick unboxing video because I don't know how long I can wait to ride this thing. So, as per usual, I've got my trusty K-bar. We are going to start opening this thing up and see what happens. Okay, we gotta take a break here so you can just peek inside the box really quick. Check this out. Oh my goodness, this is just the beginning. Okay, just the beginning, just a quick shot, a little preview. Yeah. Okay, well, one major step down, okay. All right, so we've got so far this beautiful thing. Again, oh, it's so pretty. This is the Hollyburn P5. Yeah, like I said, this is not an electric scooter. This is like a freaking monster. Oh my God. It's huge and gnarly and burly. All right, let's take off some of this stuff here so we can get a look at it. Okay, this is looking really good so far. Okay, we're gonna reposition this camera here. 1 second, you need to see a direct down view before I start unpacking it more. So again, this is what we got from the top. As you can see, it's in the folded up position. Still looks epic though. Still looks epic. All right, let's get this thing unboxed the rest of the way. We got this box now, it came with it. It's the only box I think that comes with it. Okay. This is the hex key tool that it comes with. It's actually pretty nice quality. We've got the keys, which are in there. It's got a little Works logo on it, actual keys, pretty cool. Pins for the stem. We'll put those in a minute. This is probably the quick charger right here. All right, so this is the quick charger that I got here. It's a little bit more expensive than the regular charger, but it's gonna cut your charge time in half. So I think it's definitely worth the extra cost for this. I mean, I haven't tried it yet, so I can't guarantee that it does that, but that's what it says it'll do. So I don't know, we'll see. The charging cable right here. Focus. These two right here and right here. Oh, we got something else. Don't know what this is. Oh, it's the other handlebar. Okay, or a wand. I don't know. Looks kind of like a wand to me. What the instruction manual says is to loosen the bolts right here for the stem, and then that way after you do that you can move it and put it into position. Okay, and then you can lock it with these pins right here. Oh God, it's heavy. Are you kidding me with this? It's so big. Oh man. Okay, we gotta check this thing out a little bit more. I mean, come on. The deck It's very smooth and tacky. This is actually for a seat post right here, I believe. I did not order a seat post and I don't want one, but I think you can actually use a seat post so you can sit if you want to. This thing is so sturdy and stout. Disc brakes, I mean, come on, it's got disc brakes and regenerative braking. This thing is just unbelievable. Oh yeah. This thing is unbelievable. Okay, that is a quick unboxing. Just wanted to show you guys kind of what's inside the box here, give you just a little bit of an overview of what you got. What I'm gonna do right now is do a test ride, get familiar with it, and then I'm gonna show you guys this beast in action. So, peace, see you in a minute.
Beep, beep.
All right, welcome to the review portion of the Rover Hollyburn P5 electric scooter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the this thing in action, and now that we have unboxed it, shown you what it looks like on the road and off-road, I wanted to basically talk about my experience with this beautiful monster machine, tell you kind of what it's all about. First of all, let's just start with what is this thing, right? So it's not an electric scooter. I mean, it's called a works electric scooter, but really, it's a Rover. It's an entirely new class of machine, right? It's not an electric scooter. It's not a motorcycle. It's obviously not a skateboard. It's got two wheels, but it's just not a scooter. The way this thing rides is basically like a dirt bike. If you guys have ever ridden a dirt bike or a motorcycle before, you will immediately feel comfortable, and it will feel very reminiscent of that as soon as you get on. Just the way that it moves, the way that it handles, kind of the way that it corners and takes hills and stuff. I mean, this thing basically feels like freedom unleashed. I've had electric skateboards before. I've had a Metro board, a couple of those, an Evolve board. I tried the boosted board for a while, and this thing is the embodiment of freedom. There is nowhere that you cannot go on this. You can go so fast on the roads. You can go so fast off-road. You can go on dirt, gravel, like seriously rocky terrain. You can go through water. I have not found a place yet that this cannot go. This thing is powerful. This thing is fast. It is mean. It reminds me of a Yamaha Raptor. I don't know if you guys have ever ridden that quad before or heard of it or seen it. Actually, I'm gonna throw a pickup right here. So it looks like to me a Yamaha Raptor, where the thing looks angry. It looks like it just wants to be freed from the constraints of sitting idle. I mean, this thing wants to be in motion, and you can feel that when you get on it and when you ride it. It becomes immediately evident that this thing wants to move. In all seriousness, this is the single most fun vehicle that I personally have ever ridden. Probably in part because it's so unique. I grew up riding snowboards, wakeboarding, mountain bike riding, quads, dirt bikes, motorcycles, jeeping through the Rubicon, basically flying. I have a pilot's license. Anything that's got a motor, like I love it. Like, I love motorized vehicles, and this is easily the most fun thing I've ever ridden. All right, so what can the Hollyburn P5 do? So first of all, right about here inside the chassis, there's a 4,400 watt motor, and that's 4,400 true watts, okay? Now with most electric vehicles, the ratings are they're totally skewed. So like, not to bash on any particular brand, but like, let's just say electric skateboards will say, we got 3,000 watts of power. I mean, it's a lie. I don't have the technical expertise to lay out the exact reasons why, but I've talked to mechanical engineers in depth about that, and long story short, it's not 3,000 watts for these electric skateboards. It's more like 700 watts. I mean, if they had 3,000 watts, they would be just flying. So when this says 4,400 watts, it's 4,400 true watts. If we were using the same scale that some of these other electric vehicle manufacturers are using, they are exaggerating by about a factor of 7 or 8. So if we were to apply those same numbers to this, we'd be having, what is that? I don't know, I'm not a mathematician, like 32,000 watts, something like that. So needless to say, it's 4,400 watts of true power, and it's ridiculously powerful. It's so powerful. It'll climb up hills, off-road, on-road, whatever you can throw at this thing, it's gonna handle it. With this beautiful 4,400 watt self-contained motor, it will go up to 37 miles per hour. Now that's what the company says is 37 miles per hour. And again, a lot of times companies exaggerate these numbers of range, speed, power, stuff like that. But I want to tell you right now that it goes, I'm pretty confident that it actually goes faster than 37 miles per hour. I'm not talking about downhill, but just on level road, right by where I live, there's one of those, this is how fast you're going kind of radar things, and I clocked it about 39, 40 miles per hour, consistently going full throttle past that thing, and it gives me a readout of about 39 to 40 miles per hour every single time. So it says 37 on the tech sheet, but I'm pretty sure it goes 40. And perhaps even more impressive than the ridiculous top speed is that it'll get to 0 to 30 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds. So Yeah, it's basically like a race car. The battery box sits about right here and gives it a range of 28 miles. That's what it says again on the tech sheet. So with range, it's not exaggerated, but it's under a very specific set of circumstances. So if you are going to be going on the road, not flooring it the entire time, not going up super steep hills, you will get 28 miles, perhaps even a little bit further. If you ride it like I do, as you can see, I've already got some nice racing stripes here. I mean, I push this thing to the limits. I go off-road. It's almost always full throttle. I get realistically about 20 miles or so. It has a recommended carrying capacity of 280 pounds. I weigh 200 pounds. I typically have a backpack filled with all my gear, probably about another 30 pounds or so. So all in all, I'm putting about 230 pounds of strain on this machine every time I ride it. And even at that weight, I mean, I don't really notice any sort of lag going up hills. It doesn't even seem to notice that it's got that much weight on it. I mean, I'm sure if you're a lighter rider, you will probably get a little bit more out of this machine. You probably will have quicker acceleration, maybe longer distances, perhaps even a greater top speed, I don't know. But the cool thing about this and why I like it is because I'm a pretty heavy guy, and you know, a lot of times with electric vehicles, I don't get anywhere near the performance that's advertised out of them because, you know, they're typically looking for a carrying capacity of about 160 to 180 pounds. So when this thing has a 280 pound carrying capacity for anybody who's, you know, my size or bigger or my weight or bigger, this thing is a dream. Durability. Okay, how durable is the Rover Hollyburn P5? It's freaking durable, okay? So anybody who is a Jeeper or anybody who goes off-road like rock crawling will probably immediately recognize kind of this these guards up here in the front and just this Under Armour kind of here. It's very reminiscent of like rock crawling and kind of the Under Armour that you get for when you hit massive rocks. Obviously you don't want to be hitting massive rocks with this thing, but because of the armor, I mean, it's thick. It's thick freaking casing, and there are no exposed parts. I mean, the most exposed probably component of the Rover is going to be the disc brake right here on this side, but I mean, even still, it's tucked in really close to the wheel. I haven't had any strikes yet with it, and I've gone over some pretty intense stuff. But that's, I think, the most exposed thing, and even still, it's very protected. Specifically, it has Crusher 5-point armor. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's what it says in the website. I don't know what that means, so whatever. But I will tell you that I think one of the most vulnerable wear points for this machine is going to be the stem right here, and it is just so beefy. I mean, think about all the pressure, you know, the fulcrum point of right here with this really tall stem. Anytime you're going to be stopping, if you push forward the handlebars, you're going up a hill, you're going to pull back. That is a lot of stress right here on the stem, and that's always my concern with any electric scooter, even though, again, this isn't really an electric scooter. But that being said, what I like about this is these massive, ginormous clamps on either side, right here and right here. They've got two bolts that fasten them, that clamp. It's split like this, and it just clamps really tightly together. But just in case those fail, it's got this beautiful redundancy of these pins that are that go straight through the stem. So if for some reason the bolts fail, you got this as a backup. And it's got a pressurized ball inside of this, so it doesn't come out unless you give it a lot of force and actually yank it out. Now, again, the motor is completely protected inside of this housing. So even if you get a direct strike on the bottom from a huge rock or something, you're never going to hit your motor. I mean, the Under Armour actually covers the motor right here where my hand is. That's where the motor stops. So it starts at about, the motor starts at about right here, ends at right here, and runs the entire length of the chassis. So it's a big freaking motor. And the cool thing is it's protected. There's two options that you can have for the drive. You can have a belt drive like what I have right here, or you can have a chain driven version. So the belt one is going to be good for people who want to go on-road and off-road, but maybe people who aren't looking to go extreme off-roading. Maybe you're not going to be doing you know, 10-foot jumps, or you're not going to be going through just, you know, gnarly rocks. You don't really intend on just banging it up mercilessly. So the benefit of the belt is that it's going to be lower maintenance. It's going to be quieter. Now, the benefit of the chain, though, is it is going to give you a little bit added protection. If you do get a strike, whatever, you know, on the sprocket, the chain is 99,000 times out of 100,000 times going to just shrug it off. Obviously with the chain, you have to provide lube, you have to clean it a little bit more, so it does have a little bit more maintenance involved, and it is a little bit louder. It actually has kind of a, like a little bit of a whine to it. It's not very loud, and actually the wheel noise almost completely drowns out the chain. The more that I rode the chain version, I gotta say, I actually kind of liked the noise that it made. It was a comforting, almost like a, again, like an angry hiss. It sounded like it wanted to be released, and I really liked it. So if you're concerned with getting the chain is going to be the noise, I wouldn't sweat it. It's not that loud, and it does give you a little bit added protection. The interesting thing about the chain version is that it has a higher gear ratio, just slightly. So it has a top speed of about 35 miles an hour. So that means you have a little bit higher torque, a little bit higher acceleration, but a little bit lower top speed. So it's just kind of a trade-off, and you have to decide, you know, what is it you're looking to do with your Hollyburn P5. Okay, one of my very favorite things about this vehicle is that it is truly, honest to goodness, seriously, honestly waterproof. It's rated at IP66 weatherproof rating, which means you can go through puddles, you can go through rain, you can go through standing water. It's not advised that you submerge it, right? But as long as you keep the water below the light line right here, you're pretty much good to go. So you can even, if you wanted to, you could pressure wash this thing, and it can actually shrug off pressurized water sprayed directly into the, you know, into any area here, which is really awesome. Actually, if you take off this this deck right here, underneath there is kind of like a rubber gasket that seals it. So I mean, it's seriously really honestly waterproof. I have taken it through some water. I haven't taken it through rivers or anything. I know that's waterproof. I just don't want to test it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an expensive vehicle. I don't want to risk it, but I probably will actually at some point take it. There's some river crossings I have in mind locally. I want to shoot a separate video for you guys, which I think you will like very much, of a BMX track and some river crossings, stuff like that, but that'll be later. Talking still about durability, the batteries in this thing are incredibly durable, right? So first of all, the longevity of these batteries is kind of unbelievable. So you get about 2,000 charge cycles out of this battery before you need to start to consider replacing it. In other words, you have about 50,000 miles of riding before you need to even worry about replacing the batteries, which is a lot. I've probably got 100 miles under my belt so far, and I mean, 50,000 miles is that's a long way to go before you have to replace a battery. I mean, shoot, by the time 50,000 miles is up, they'll probably have, you know, some sort of like cold fusion, hydrogen, plutonium, Iron Man transformer thing, right? Another awesome thing about the batteries is that they are encased in a super high-tech type of insulation which bleeds heat very, very well. And that means that you can go full power up the steepest hill you can find, from full charge to empty, just draining the battery just as high as the amperage will go, and you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna overheat the batteries. If for some reason the batteries did start to overheat, when you turn the key on, you'll hear there's an internal fan that helps add cooling. So for lower speeds, if there's not a lot of airflow going over it, you actually get extra cooling from the fan pumping out the heat. Worst case scenario, if the batteries somehow failed and they had a catastrophic fire, they won't explode. The rating for this battery is, I forgot what it's called, but basically you could hold a blowtorch directly to the batteries for 2 minutes and they won't catch fire. So it's very safe batteries, which is a huge deal to me, especially because of how hard I'm going to push this thing, and that really adds to the overall durability. I mean, there's always concern with batteries. I mean, even companies like Boosted Boards, they had the recent issue with their version 2, they were catching fire. I mean, nobody's really immune to it, but I really think that the technology that's in these batteries is just so far superior to everything else. I mean, they're the same batteries that are used in the electric cars, like the Teslas and stuff like that. So that, I think, should give you kind of an indication of the level of quality for these batteries that are inside the Rover. Like you saw, it is key operated. One of my very favorite things about this vehicle is that it has lights, right? You can turn a switch over here, turn the lights on, turn the lights off. It's so cool. It has lights in the front and in the back, and if you got the switch on, they will run for as long as there is battery power left. They're not really powerful enough to illuminate your path. Really, more than anything, they're just so that other vehicles can see you on the road, which is a huge benefit for added safety. Another cool thing is that right up here on top, there is a pre-drilled and threaded hole, which means you can add, if you want to, your own flashlight, which I actually plan on doing, which will give you, enough visibility to ride at night if you want to do that, which I do. Charging, okay, so we've got a range of 28 miles. Now, if you start to get low on juice, and let's say you want to charge it up from halfway or even close to empty, with a fast charger, you're going to get a charge time of about 1.5 hours. Okay, so from dead empty to full with a fast charger, 1.5 hours. Now, that's the charger that I have. Actually, I've got one of each, but the fast charger, it really is that fast. That is not exaggeration on the company's part. It's unbelievable. It is the fastest charging electric vehicle I've ever seen. And I think what's so impressive is that it's able to charge this massive battery in such a short amount of time. The slow charger or the dumb charger, it says it takes about 5 hours. Now, I have that one too, just as a backup. I actually found it takes a little bit longer than 5 hours. For me, it takes about 6 hours or even 7 hours sometimes from empty to charge up with a slow charger. If you can, I would definitely get the fast charger. It's just, you could drive this thing to empty, go to a coffee shop and sit for a little bit, plug it in for half an hour, charge it, a third of the way, boom, you're good to go. So I definitely recommend the fast charger. It's really definitely worth the money. 2 cool points I love about the charging. Number 1, you can charge this directly after riding it. So if you go hardcore, you're just going through hills, you're going off-road, you're really working the vehicle, it's hot, you can plug it in right away and it's safe to charge the battery. Another benefit to both chargers, actually the fast charger and the slow charger, is that you can charge it overnight if you want to, and then when it's done charging, it'll automatically shut off. So you don't have to worry about standing by, is it gonna hurt the batteries if I leave it plugged in too long? Nope, plug it in, leave, go do whatever you want, and then when it's done, it shuts off. Let's talk about braking. Okay, one of my biggest beefs with every electric vehicle is the braking, right? You've got these electric skateboards that go 20, 24, 25 miles an hour, and the braking is just subpar. It sucks to be able to go that fast and then kind of be limited by the braking because you can't really be going that fast through traffic and stuff, or I don't go that fast through traffic because I know I can't stop. Actually, I've had an incident with one brand of electric skateboards where the brakes failed and I was going about 20 miles an hour and I ended up getting hit by a car. Totally fine, walked away, no big deal. I ran over my board and broke it, but the brakes failed. You know what I'm saying? That's a really big deal. So here's what I think is so incredible about the Hollyburn P5. So you've got the rear brake is regenerative braking. The power is set at about 20% of the full motor value, the 4,400 watts. So it's a decently strong brake if you're going down a hill and you don't need to stop quickly. If you use the regenerative braking, it's going to slow you down plenty. Now you activate the regenerative braking by just tapping on the brake. It sends an electrical signal down to the motor and it starts the braking process. If you need to brake more quickly, you actually squeeze the brake harder and it engages the disc brakes in the front, and that will stop you with a quickness. In fact, it will stop you so quickly that if you're not prepared for it, you will endo. It will lock up and you will flip over. So when you brake hard, you really have to, just like a dirt bike, you can't just brake and sit there. You gotta brake and lean back to kind of counterbalance that momentum. All right, so we have gone over pretty much everything with this vehicle. Now it's time to talk about the things that I really particularly like about it. And overall, I really love everything about this. I literally love every single thing about this vehicle. One of the things I like potentially more than anything else is the ride style. So for me, getting on this, it was pretty intuitive right away because it just feels so much like a dirt bike. With that 85-pound curb weight, it's just the way that it rides. It's not like a regular electric scooter. It really is like a dirt bike where you got to lean into it. You're not steering with the front tire. You're steering by your body weight. And the more you get down, lower your center of gravity, and you can really just move the thing around. I love the way that it handles. The ergonomics on it are great. Just the overall dimensions, the height of the stem, the length of the deck, the width of it, everything is perfect. This little spot right back here is great to rest your heel on. So you kind of put your heel on the back right here and then kind of angle it like that. And that really gives you a really solid footing, especially for climbing hills or anytime you get on rough patches. I always have my heel up here. It gives you that added kind of connection to the Rover. And seriously, just you gotta ride it to understand, but anybody who's ridden dirt bikes, you will immediately feel at home on this thing, I guarantee you. I love the durability of it. I mean, I've only ridden it for about 100 miles, but it's so clear that this thing was built for longevity, not for ease of use. Now, what I mean by that is specifically the stem, right? So in order to lower the stem, what you can do, you have to loosen the bolts up here, take out the pins, fold it down, tighten the bolts back up, then you can stow it away. I mean, it's a process. Like, it takes a minute. You know, it's not a quick thing. But the other side of that is that when it is in use and when this stem is locked in place, it's not going anywhere. It's overbuilt. I mean, this entire thing from top to bottom is overbuilt. And when you're going at speeds of like 40 miles an hour, like, that's what you want. So for me, I'm so impressed with the overall build quality. I love it so much. Like I mentioned before, it's waterproof, like really waterproof. I mean, man, there's so many electric vehicles I've had where they're waterproof or water resistant. You can go through rain, you can go through puddles, whatever, and I've jacked pretty much all of them at one point or another. I burned out several motor controllers on my electric skateboards because they were, quote, waterproof from the factory, and then, you know, I had to, after some aftermarket modifications and some sealant and stuff, I ended up getting them to be waterproof. But out of the box, this thing is waterproof. IP66 standards is no joke, and you can't get that rating unless it's like actually approved, you know, and actually given to you. It's not just like a rating that you're like, oh, it's an IP66. No, that's like a designated rating. I love that the brakes work. Oh my God, like I said before, like the brakes, they work, man. You hit the brakes and you can go as fast as you want. It's just like a car or a motorcycle. Like, as fast as you want to go, as fast as you're comfortable going, you can go that fast because you know the brakes are gonna work. Even if the regen brake fails and you have to go full front brake, I mean, that's not optimal, but fine, you're still gonna stop, you just gotta lean back more, right? I love it, and I love that it's got the regen first, and I love it's all contained in one apparatus, just one brake, so you don't need a separate lever for the rear brakes and front brakes. That's really cool. And I love that it feels like about, I don't know, 20/80, you know, for the front and back, and I think that's a pretty good ratio. The brakes are great. It's one of the most fascinating things about this vehicle. I've gone up really steep hills in this thing, but I've also gone down really steep hills, and that is really awesome and really incredible. Okay, last thing that I really love about the Hollyburn P5 is that it charges in 1.5 hours, man. For the fast charger, I don't know how it does that, but it does it. I've tested it for about, I don't know, 7 or 8 cycles or something like that. More than that, I don't know, but I tested it enough to know that it really does charge from empty to full in 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. I mean, you could have dinner and it's ready to charge again. Again, all of my other electric vehicles, they charge about 4 to 5 hours. So, you know, it's just so, this thing charges at such a significantly faster rate that it's just one of the many added benefits for me that one of the reasons I had to have it. Well, we have talked about the things I like about it. Now, in all fairness, let's talk about the things that I don't like about it. Really, it's kind of hard. Like, I'm gonna be nitpicky, so let's see. Wish list, right? I wish that there were maybe some other points on the stem that were pre-drilled and pre-threaded, so I could put attachments on there. Like, it would be cool if there was maybe a couple on the sides. I could throw some extra lights on there. Maybe even the sides right here. I mean, I'm sure I could do that myself, but it'd be cool if there was maybe something that came from the factory like that. Maybe we could have an app in the future that gives us kind of real-time information about the vehicle, but that might have to be like a hardware update as well as an actual software update, so I don't know. But I mean, honestly, other than that, I can't find anything not to like about it. Yeah, there's just no issues. Oh, okay, one other thing, maybe it would be cool if there was maybe like a centralized light, you know, on the front where it's actually a truly bright light that could, like, built in, that could illuminate your path. That would be cool. But yeah, seriously, other than that, I have no gripes with it. It's honestly just freaking perfect. Like, it's clearly been well thought out and well designed and over designed, and man, I just love it. Okay, so now let's talk about the cost. Yeah, it's expensive. Okay, so it's $6,300. Yes, seriously, it's $6,300, okay? Now with that, you could buy 4 version 2 dual plus boosted boards. You could buy about 2.7 Evolve Carbon GT 2-in-1 electric skateboards. You could buy 15.7 Swagtron hoverboards. You could buy about 7/10 of a Renault Twizy, which is those little single-seat electric cars by Renault. You could buy a used car, right? For $6,300, you could seriously buy like a pretty nice used car. So I think, whoa. So let's just be real, right? At a price point of $6,300, like why would you buy this? What's the point of buying this vehicle when you could buy like 2 or 3 or 15 of something else? And well, I think for me, there's kind of 2 answers. Number one, it's the most fun I've ever had. Like I said, it's honest to goodness, it's the most fun of any electric vehicle, or almost I would say any motorized vehicle that I've ever ridden. It's just so much fun. You have to ride it to understand it. It is indescribable the amount of fun that it is. Now, second of all, and I think probably more important for me, is that for quite some time I've been trying to go completely carbon free, as far as like I'm trying to like not drive my car as much as possible. Now I started that endeavor with my electric skateboards, and that's why I bought a couple of those, was because I wanted something with a decent range, a decent speed, something where I could go to the grocery store with, I could go shopping with, like whatever, I could take it pretty far and not have to worry about it. So for me, this is the final step. I think this is probably going to be the last expensive electric vehicle that I'll need to get, because it does everything. It just opens up an entirely new world of possibilities for me. Not just about going to the grocery store or whatever, or going to go do shopping stuff, but how I get there, like it puts a smile on my face. And I don't know, it's like life is too short, man. Like if I can get somewhere, do what I need to do, and also have fun, then I'm gonna try to do it. Now, the upfront price is, it hurts. I'm not gonna lie. At $6,300, it hurts. I console myself when I'm crying in my bed as I'm falling asleep, thinking about the $6,300 that's gone, by remembering that it costs about 12 cents to charge this thing. 12 cents to charge from empty. So yeah, I don't know what that equates to for mile, how many pennies a mile, but it's basically, it's virtually free to charge up. Gas isn't super expensive right now, but I don't know, like it saves money, but also for me, it's kind of like, it's just like a lifestyle thing that I'm personally trying to do. So that's why I do it. I'm not saying that's why you have to do it, but that's why I'm doing it. Now, that coupled with the fact that it is incredibly fun, I think that's a pretty good selling point for me. At least that's why I got it. So $6,300. It is a punch in the gut for sure, but it's also one of the just the coolest things you'll ever ride in your entire life. I firmly believe that. Now, I try to end all these videos with the last question of, is it worth it? Is it worth the money? Would I buy it again, or would I recommend it? And most of the time the answer is yes, because I spend a lot of time researching stuff before I go out and get it. There's been a couple of videos that if you guys follow me, you'll know that I'm a little hesitant to recommend it. So for this, the answer is yeah. Absolutely, without hesitation. Is it worth $6,300? Yeah, surprisingly it is. I think it might even be worth more than that. I think that at that price point, you are getting more than what you're paying for. I think that because it's made in the USA, it's designed in the USA, it's made and manufactured in the USA, it's assembled in the USA, and it's sold in the USA, like, that's pretty cool in and of itself, but it just means you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. So none of this stuff is outsourced. You're not, there's control in the build process from start to finish, and that's just so important for quality control. It's so hard to know for sure what you're getting when it's coming from overseas, and you don't have eyes on it, and I really firmly believe that is the sole issue for 99% of these other electric vehicle companies they're outsourcing most of their materials, and they're, sometimes they're assembling them here in the US, a lot of times they're not. But yeah, long story short, it's worth it. It's something where you probably have to save up for it, or I don't know, sell a kidney or something, or I don't know what you have to do, but it is definitely worth the money. And I'd buy it again in a heartbeat. I really would. Honestly, if I can, I will probably end up buying another one at some point so that I can go riding with friends, because like right now I have to go by myself. I've been going with mountain bike riders a lot, and that's really fun for the downhill parts, but on the uphill parts, like I just obviously smoke them because I have a motor. So, you know, I might try going with people who have dirt bikes, or if I can find somebody locally that's got like a electric mountain bike, that would be, I think, maybe a comparable thing. So yeah, that's about it. It is really a work of art. This thing is fun to ride, it's practical, it's just great. There's nothing else I can say about it. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please subscribe, please thumbs up, and yeah, if you can't share it, that'd be great. Leave a comment, like tell me if you got any other questions I didn't answer. Leave a comment, let me know, and I will do my best to keep track of that and answer that for you guys, because there's a lot to cover with this thing, and I might have left something out. So anyways, thank you again, and peace.